Since we're not together for this one, I just want to walk through very briefly this visualization, although I think you can do it just fine. But just in case you need a nudge or just want a little bit more direction. This is about Sparrow Properties and their purchasing department. And in order to answer the questions, you are looking for compliance with certain internal controls. Internal controls are those 5 controls that help you in your COSO framework to mitigate risk. And so here, I would expect you to identify which of the 5 they're using, and they're using authorization. In other words, the purchases over $5,000 have to have a manager or director approve the purchase order. And also there has to be a 3-way match before there's the payment of the purchase order, the invoice quantity, and the goods received. So you can't approve, you can't authorize the payment to those are happening. So we're using authorization here in terms of the control to help mitigate risk in the purchasing cycle. So there are 3 things on this visual. There's match compliance, that 3-way match. And it's either a 3-way match yes or it's a 3-way match no. And so there's compliance is when it's yes. Approval being a separate control, which is if it's over $5,000, did it have at least a director or manager approving it? And then invoice discrepancy tells you how large the difference is when there wasn't a match. Okay, so let's look at it. So the match compliance is, did you have a 3-way match? So it looks very good. There's a very high 3-way match for, in fact, there's a better compliance for the little ones than there is for the big ones. Not by a lot. There's a 97.2% match for the little ones and a 90.8% match on the big ones. But this compliance is pretty good. Over here, and so the questions you're getting on your visualization just ask you about the degree of match for small or large, and they just want you to be looking at them and comparing them and answering a question about that. And then the approval match is for the larger ones, our managers and directors signing it. So the orange is managers, so almost 90% of the large ones are signed off by a manager. Just a very few, less than 1%, director. And then the 9.9% are non-compliance, where you proved it yourself. You didn't take it to your manager or to your director. So those are out of compliance. And then here, these are all okay, right? Below 5,000, you can approve it yourself or your manager could approve it. So it's not possible to be out of compliance here in terms of approvals because you're not required to get a larger approval. Really, it's over here in the larger ones where you can have an issue. And then down here, we have invoices that don't match either the purchase order or the receipt, the receiver, as to how many units were actually received. And so all of these are over 5%. So all of these are a problem. Right? All of these are out of compliance. All of these would require follow-up. The red ones require quicker follow-up, more follow-up. There would be a bigger priority, but all of these would require a follow-up. But it looks like furniture and fixtures are, the area of greatest concern. So who knows what's going on there, and have to find out if there's a systemic problem or whether somebody didn't know what they were doing or substituting for somebody, or who knows what's going on there, but it would require follow-up. All right. So hopefully that'll give you enough structure to be able to answer those questions. Let me know if you have a question.